Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 4th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery as of yesterday morning. We're going to play through this. You can see the monsoon moisture riding back up over the area, kicking off thunderstorms across Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. The marine layer was into the Puget Sound, Strait of Juan de Fuca, into the valleys of Vancouver Island, and the Olympic Mountains here towards northwest Oregon. If we scroll through the day yesterday, you can see the thunderstorm activity really blossomed there across southern Oregon, Idaho. Thunderstorms continued on through the evening hours. Overnight hours, they kept going a little bit there, and we had a few thunderstorms there across some areas of eastern Washington. Looks like one popped off just north of the Tri-Cities there, and we go in towards this morning. You can see that activity pushing off to the north and east, but we are going to spawn some probably again east slopes of the Cascades of Oregon as we go through the day today. But you can also see the marine layer out there punched back in towards the Puget Sound, but it's already burning off. So if I scroll back and forth, you can kind of see it moving back and forth there as well, and down through the Oregon coast. Pretty extensive marine layer coverage right now, even into some of the Willamette Valley and some of the Portland area also. So we're going to take a look at the extended forecast. We'll take a look at the smoke forecast as well, and we'll take a look at this little weak system. It's going to cool us off for a couple days before we warm back up next week. So taking a look at this morning, and you can see that marine layer already burning back across Seattle, across some of the Puget Sound as well, already getting pretty thin out there. You can also see Mount Baker right here and the smoke drifting around, and look at some of these valleys into the Olympic Mountains here. Very nice. You can imagine if you're standing on the higher terrain of the Olympic Mountains, you can look down at this marine layer. Pretty impressive sight. And if you take a look at this weather station here by Bly, Oregon, it was picking up lightning yesterday. And if I scroll back out a little bit here, there's Crater Lake right there. There's the California-Oregon border. So if we take a look between 6 and 9 p.m., look at all the lightning strikes that this weather station was picking up. Highly recommend this weather station. Very fun to watch when it's attached to your place of residence. Click on that link down below if you want to save 10% off on one. So here is for today. It does include Pendleton, Boise, Missoula, and Butte. Does not include Spokane right now, but it does include some of the east slopes of the Cascades of Oregon. Tomorrow, maybe the North Cascades, British Columbia, higher terrain of Washington, Idaho, Blue Mountains there as well. And day 3 starting to move off to the north and east. Some marginal risk here today and tomorrow. Actually, this is for today now. Look at that. They've updated this. A slight risk there for today for Billings, Montana, and that is mainly a wind and hail threat, no tornado threat. Taking a look at Western Washington, SeaTac Airport checking in at 82. Boeing Field hit 84. You can see Renton hit 85. But take a look at Omak, Washington, 104 degrees. Tri-Cities, 96. Hanford, 98. If we take a look at Oregon, you got Astoria, nice, comfortable 71 degrees. Look at the Oregon coast, pretty chilly, 64 degrees. You might need a jacket in those conditions. Roseburg, 86. And look down here. What do we got? We got Prosser, Washington, checking in at 93. And Pendleton checking in at 95 yesterday. So yeah, interesting stuff. Look at this all the way down, 103 in Ontario. Very warm. Now looking at the thunderstorm outlook for today, we've got a cluster of storms that may form here off the east slopes of the Cascades. Could include Bend, Redmond, Madras here, and there's Fossil, Oregon as well. And some of these could drift off a little bit further off to the north and east. Watch out for the new fire starts and the gusty winds. This is for the North Cascades here and some of northeast Washington. I kind of wonder why they put these percentages even at 1% for Yakima, Tri-Cities, Seattle, and Tacoma out there. Don't expect thunderstorms down across the region, but interesting that they put a little bit of a chance there. Now, taking a look at a wider view of things, there's Alaska, there's British Columbia, Washington. You got the European on the left versus the GFS on the right. So as we build this ridge here, we're not going to be dealing with much onshore flow as we go through next week. So it's going to allow us to warm up as we go through the end of the week. But then we've got a fantasy scenario unfolding here because this upper level low right off the coast of the GFS, and there is some agreement with the European here. We're looking over 200 hours out. It's still just fantasy right now, but this could bring some interesting thunderstorm activity back across even some of the lower elevations west of the Cascades of Oregon and Washington if things set up just right. But again, fantasy forecast and just fun to kind of imagine at this point. We'll see how this trends over the next few days. But you can see both models kind of have that upper level low in the sweet spot there that would bring some of that defluent flow aloft and some of that southeast flow aloft back across the region. Again, something fun to watch. We'll see if the models take that away on the next run or not. Taking a look at the North American model. So I want to show you excuse me, I want to show you this is we've got this cluster of thunderstorms potentially developing today across the east slopes of the Cascades of Oregon, Blue Mountains there. And then we've got kind of this little troughing system here, and it may kick off some showers across the North Cascades as we go through Sunday and Monday across British Columbia, again, off to the east. But it will cool us down for a couple of days before we start to warm back up again here as we go through the mid and the end portion of next week. So if we look at the National Blend of Models, we'll scroll on in through today and see that cluster of storms here could include Redmond and Bend there, and places off to the north and east there. Then we go through Monday, and you can see again thunderstorm development across eastern Washington and across some of the Blue Mountains here also. And then moving off in towards the Idaho Panhandle and western Montana. Looking at the lightning flash density potential, let's see if the HRRR shows that cluster. It does right there. And then as we scroll on in through Monday morning, Monday later morning there in afternoon, you can see pretty good lightning potential showing up here across some of the Blue Mountains, Idaho, western Montana, and British Columbia. Could get a couple thunderstorms there, and maybe even Alberta. Look at that. Pretty prolific lightning producing storm there. Man, you can get a supercell and some severe weather out of that. Taking a look at Seattle, Tacoma, National Blend of Models, you see that bit of a cool down here as we go through Monday and Tuesday, then bouncing back as we go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Look at Friday. Some of the models are showing Seattle getting back up towards 90 degrees for a nice weekend, a nice, very warm weekend out there, downright hot for some people. If we take a look at today, this is Sunday, and you can see the valleys up into British Columbia and Seattle, quite warm. Willamette Valley into the 90s. Some hundreds for the Tri-Cities showing up there also. And if we scroll through this, you can see there's Monday, Tuesday, a little bit of a cool down there. And then we bounce back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Look at that, 90 degrees showing up for Seattle. And we go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of above average regime going on here. Let's look at the smoke forecast. So this is the most recent data. Let me update that to see if we have anything new. We don't, but this might be the clearest day for the seafarer goers there across the Puget Sound. You can see not much smoke in the atmosphere here. We had a little bit showing up there yesterday, and even for Western Oregon, check it out. Some of the Willamette Valley, you may be clearing out a bit by tonight, but portions east, not quite as lucky, although we may be getting a break as far as some of that smoke is concerned as well. I'll show you that here when we look at the cross sections. Let's start with Tri-Cities, and you can kind of see as we go through tonight, it's showing not quite as bad a coverage here of smoke. In fact, let me update this and we'll show the 15Z. Yeah, you can see as we go through the afternoon today, you may be getting a bit of a break for some areas east of the mountains. This is Bend. Let's update that to the 15Z HRRR, and you can kind of see the smoke around, but it should be improving somewhat today and maybe even improving a bit more by tomorrow night. We'll scroll on in towards Spokane International. Let's take a look at the 15Z. You can see the smoke is going to be around, but it could be improving. And then I'm going to bounce back to the 12Z here as we go on in through Monday night. Hopefully that is the case. And if we take a look at Portland International, no smoke right now showing up. This goes out 48 hours, and this is for Seattle. Same thing here as well. No smoke showing up in the atmosphere. Now, this is an interesting look at things here. Another cross section. This is temperature this time. This is 10,000 feet at the top of this image. And you can see the warmth here as we go through the afternoon hours and the overnight hours. And then tomorrow will be a bit cooler here across portions of western Washington. And if you're out there searching for the condensation on the backside of the Blue Angels or the F-35s out there, not as much moisture today as yesterday, but it still could get the job done. This is when the Blue Angels will be up right here, and you can kind of see that marine there for SeaTac as we go through the morning hours this morning. Things dry out a little bit here as the temperatures rise. So taking a look at the 7-day significant fire potential, they didn't put any lightning strikes bolts in here, but they could probably have done it for NW6 or NW11 over the next couple of days. But right now, they just have that elevated risk. If we take a look at the apparent temperature on the National Blend of Models, if you're going out to Seafair today, you can see as we go through, it's about 10 a.m. There's a noon hour right there, 76 on the lake if you're going out there to view the show. And then as we go on in through 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, so right about there is when the Blue Angels are going. So probably 85 degrees right in the peak of the show there. And that's probably what you're going to be at when you leave the area. You can also see Mount Baker here. There's Mount Rainier and, of course, the Cascades where things are cooler. And you can also see the high resolution showing some of the valley areas as well. So yeah, interesting stuff there. These are some of my shots. The iridescence you can kind of see is the condensation forming on the top of the F-35 yesterday. And yeah, quite an impressive show he was putting on. And then they shoot out these flares also. But yeah, he was making some pretty good condensation on the top of his wings there. Again, you can see the iridescence moving through here. Got really lucky with this shot. Came right over the top of Seward Park there. Yeah, Seward Park. did I say Seward? Seward Park. But yeah, interesting stuff. It was very fun yesterday, and you can kind of see again the condensation forming. Yeah, yesterday. So yeah, had a great time out there. And a shock wave and a high speed pass there right over the lake also, and there's the flares he's shooting out with the condensation on the top there. So this is the Blue Angel. This is their high-speed pass as well. He got a decent shockwave going on here. We've definitely seen better, but yeah, you can kind of see the individual names of some of these pilots there if you get close enough right there on the shoreline. Now let's take a look at the extended forecast. Here's August 3rd. This goes through 11th and 17th. So this was issued yesterday, and you can see the 8 to 14 day above average for a lot of the west coast here, and showing some above average precipitation. We'll see how that goes. If that trough ends up setting up shop off the west coast here, this could come into fruition. No promises just yet. Something we'll be breaking down day by day, and this is for August 17th to the 30th. So second half of August, still showing some above average here across the west coast, and precipitation just equal chances right now. Now this was issued July 31st, and this is for the entire month of August, kind of still the ridge dominating some of the west here. We'll see how that goes. And below normal signal here for the month of August, especially across right smack dab across Pacific Northwest, in fact. But yeah, anyway, I'll be out there shooting one more time today, probably, so I'm trying to work on a nice video here for you guys. If if you can't make it out to Seafair there and you like to watch air shows, you might like the video. So I'll have that out probably at some point tonight or tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. I'm also going to start doing a monthly recap for the Pacific Northwest, and I'll go over some of the temperatures, the anomaly and precipitation anomalies, and any kind of special weather events that did occur during that month. So I'll probably work on that the next couple of days for July. But otherwise, click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.